I'm standing on the deck of the Ernestina Morrissey here with David Short. David is the lead shipwright on the rebuild of the Morrissey now. This is quite a project right here. It's just got a massive amount of wood in it, and it's totally impressive. It really is. I'm impressed with the fact that they're rebuilding it totally, completely. Just about every piece of wood in this boat is being replaced. There's been some design changes and different things to it, but nothing that really changed the whole character of the boat. It's more like construction design changes. And you know, I'd like you to go over some of that, especially about this clamp with us right here, right now, if you don't mind.
Sure. Well, so you can see we're installing our new deck frame. These are 8x8 oak timbers.
Right.
These are all of the full-length frames that span the whole after deck.
I got you.
And on their outboard ends, they land on this tremendous beam shelf.
4-inch Douglas fir. Some of those pieces are 40 feet long.
That's right.
Wow. Yeah, and now it used to have like lodging knees, hanging knees.
That's right. Yep, she would have had probably nearly 100 knees.
Hanging knees, yeah.
Between the hanging knees and the lodging knees.
We're just going to step down into the bilge right here where we got a spot. And I wanted to talk to David a little bit about the stern post here. Now, this whole arrangement's been changed around quite a bit here, and I was down below looking at it, and I couldn't really figure out exactly what had happened here, but I know it was fitted out with power numbers of years after it was built. And I just want you to explain to us about this situation here. It's got like 2 stern posts in it.
That's right.
What is the story here?
So you're originally, when she was strictly operated under sail, her rudder would have hung in the location of this forwardmost post.
So the rudder used to be further forward than it's going to be now. Right.
So in the 20s, when she got her first engine, they created an aperture by installing a second post. That's your rudder case back there.
That was the simplest thing to do, was to add another rudder post
so
and move the rudder
under
aft.
the horn timber there, that creates an aperture, or a place where the propeller can spin. So she's got a center line installation, a shaft log board through that set of posts, and the rudder in that case there.
I'd just like to explain just a little bit of what's going on over here on the starboard side now. Like I said before, they've got the garboards and the broad strakes in it and another plank, and they're working their way up and they're ferring the frames out here. You know, not all the frames are cut exactly perfectly, so they're up and down a little tiny bit, and they have to take a batten and put a batten around it and stretch the batten down there and force it down against the frames nice and tight. And then you can sight it from the ends and take a look at it and see whether or not it's got any kind of rolls in it or any imperfections. And you can actually hold your fingers or your hand against the batten and push on it, and you can see where it's not bearing against that frame right there. So they've got it marked over here and over here, and they're going to take a little tiny bit off of each one of these frames until the batten gets down against this particular frame here. So they're doing that all the way down and all the way forward. And it's not as much work as it used to be. Years ago, they would have to do all of this dubbing with adzes and different things, but today they're using electric planes. Now I've moved over to the port side here, up forward, and I'm just taking a look at the garboard planks and stuff here, and the broad strakes, and the next plank up now. The garboard planks on this boat and the broad strakes are very, very heavy. You know, the garboard planks themselves are 5 inches thick white oak, so quite a bit of wood in them. And they're fastened onto the framing with trunnels. Now these are black locust trunnels, and they're driven into a hole. Sometimes as you get up higher, they drive the holes all the way through and wedge them from the inside. And in a lot of places where you can't wedge onto it from the inside, they're blind wedged. In other words, they don't drill the hole all the way through. What they do is stop the hole before it comes out the back and then put a wedge in the end of the trunnel. So when you drive it into the hole, it drives the wedge into the trunnel from the back. So it's quite a process, really, and they outlast metal. They will outlast any kind of metal that you could fasten this boat with, and certainly would be a lot less expensive. So that's the way they're fastened onto the planking. The planking's fastened onto the framing. Now I'm standing back aft under the counter of the Ernestina Morrissey, and this is quite a place to be right here. It gives you an awesome feeling of how big the boat actually is. Look at the size of some of these timbers. This is the keel timber right here, the stern end of the keel timber. And I'm looking up aft right here, and this is what you call the stern post right here, just ahead of what would be the rudder post, just ahead of that. Now, I'm looking up, and man, it must have a 10-inch hole at least for the rudder post to go up through there. So it's quite a large diameter post, and there's nothing light about any of the wood on this boat. Now, it's really, really interesting to look up through here. Like I say, there's quite a bit of staging in the way, but you know, it's still quite a scene. We're looking down both sides of the boat right here, and you can see the lines of the boat, the shape of the boat, and it's just an awesome sight. I'm with Levi here up on the deck of the Ernestina Morrissey, and we're bolting down some of the deck timbers. So we're going to show you about some of these bolts. These are handmade here. Now, Levi, why don't you show us what you got going on here?
So we got a couple custom length bolts here. Just had to do a quick peening to the top here because we didn't have a manufactured head. Those are extra long.
Now that piece of stock is about 2 feet long.
Stopping short.
You're firm in there, man.
Yeah. And it's only a pinball. The 10-pounder just gets big.
Now we're down below, back aft, here on the Ernestina, and this is that situation I was talking about from up above. This is where the stern post used to be, and the rudder was all the way up forward here. And now they've put a stern post in and aft and moved the rudder aft. This is going to be the aperture for the prop right here.
That's right.
And it's going to get a little bit blocked in a little bit differently so that it's kind of rounded a
That's
little bit.
right. Fared for the propellers, a 40-inch wheel.
Right, 40-inch
Yep.
wheel, right. And you can see, you can't see in the camera there, but the hole for the prop is right up in here for the prop shaft. And you know, now you can see the planking right here back aft. You can see the twist in the planking right back in here. All of these planks obviously had to be
That's right.
steamed and
yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
And you know, these planks here are quite a bit thicker than the ones up here. You don't see it back
Right,
aft
they
here because
right they
tape it
feather,
down.
they taper in at the ends, but our garboard is 5 inches by 12 inches.
5 inches by 12.
That's
garboard.
edge drifted to the keel with 3/4 inch bronze pins.
Right.
And then our broad strake, the next strake up is 4 inches
4 inches.
by 12, and that's edge drifted to the garboard.
And then you're down to 3 right after that.
And then we're down to our 3-inch planking. That's the rest of the hull will be 3-inch
open.
open.
The hull's going to be 3-inch
That's right.
planking.
Yep.
Right. So
Right, bronze screws and locust trunnels.
bronze screws and black locust tunnels.
Yep.
Right. Right.
Thousands of them.
Thousands of them. Yeah. I was going to ask you guys if you had a trunnel lathe and you're making your own trunnels.
So we do have a
things like
trunnel
that.
lathe, but we actually have
Loaded them out. Yeah.
have somebody manufacturing trunnels for us.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, why not? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and all these drive screws and different things have all been custom made and
built
everything,
screws.
so
Yeah.
it's quite an effort to rebuild a boat like this. There's no question about it. I hope that this is going to be the last time, and the longevity of it really.
It'll be the last time I do it. She's built to last for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And
Some of the best materials that can be had for shipbuilding
And
right
the other
now.
thing I wanted to ask you about is what is the purpose of this boat going to be? Who's going to own it, and what's going to happen with it? What's
All
going
right.
to get used for?
So the schooner is a property of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts.
Property of
She
the
was
Commonwealth
gifted.
of
She was
Massachusetts.
gifted back to Massachusetts when she was returned from Cape Verde in the Cape Verde packet service.
Right. And what use do you think the boat will get when?
So we expect that she'll go into service with the Massachusetts Maritime Academy,
I got you.
and we're also building her to, of course, to sail back to Cape Verde. She'll
Won't that
she'll
be something? Yeah.
revisit her former homeland.
I got you. Yeah.
And there's talk that she may make a transit of the Northwest Passage.
Well, Northwest Passage. Now that would be something.
So we've implored the guys to build her right.
Yeah, well, they're building it right. There's no question about that. It's impressively solid and large. So I'm really happy, David. I'm really glad that you've taken the time to talk to us. And
my pleasure.
It's an impressive job and an impressive
Thank you, Louis.
situation. So thank you
Appreciate it
very much.